Hey guys, I'm really happy to have Nica the Notary here today. We're going to dive into her business a little bit. Nica's a newer notary. I want to really talk to people that are getting started in their notary journey. It's always interesting to see why people are doing what they're doing and the route that they're going. And I just find that fascinating. I've been a mobile notary and remote online notary and apostille agent for the past 7 years. And I've talked to a lot of notaries. I've taught a lot of classes for Google Business Profile. And it's given me an opportunity to go, oh, you know what? People are doing things differently. And it's really good to listen to someone who's doing something and understand their perspective. So, Nica, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So before we get started, tell us a little bit more about you. So who you are, where you're at, where your business is, and what you're specializing in.
I am Nica Bragg. I am a notary hailing from Central Florida in the Orlando area. My specializing is in remote notary and estate planning and trust delivery.
Oh, interesting. Okay, good. So when you first decided, I'm going to be Nica the Notary, what problem were you seeing and what pushed you towards this industry?
It wasn't so much of an industry related problem. I am a homeschooling single mother. I observed my faith a certain way, and I needed the freedom and capacity to be able to do all of that flexibility on my schedule, especially being the homeschooling single mom. And I gather that you're a parent too. So, you can't control when your kids decide to wake up sick.
That's right. Yeah. The notary world gave you a little bit of flexibility. And
Yes.
yeah, that's good.
Yes.
I hear that a lot, is that the flexibility, especially for single parents, and not only single parents, but people who are married too, is just a nice flexibility piece. I find that myself. It's just really nice. I don't have to show up at an office. I can be here working and taking care of the things that I need to take care of personally and also professionally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
allows you that flexibility to have an income, but also be the parent that you are called to be.
So tell me about, okay, you do both Ron and trust delivery. That's, I don't run across too many people with those two very specific things. Why did you pick, explain why you picked Ron? Go into that a little bit. And then next after that, go into why you picked trust delivery. What was the
The
motivating
Ron
factors there?
thing was, again, homeschooling single mom. So it allows me to be home with my daughter. She's almost 15, but I still am not comfortable leaving her home alone all day, every day. And the Ron gave me the ability to do that. And when I first started coming on to the notary scene and I was looking around on different social medias, just listening to what people had to say in different areas of being a notary, and loan signing was the most popular, but it also seemed like an absolute mess. I'm sorry to say it, but it just really seemed like an absolute mess. For me, it was like people complaining that certain signing services weren't paying them at all. Others were demanding that they do the work, and 30, 60, 90 days later, you will get your check. Eventually, you'll get paid. And I
Yeah.
was just like, I don't know about you, but I can't wait that long to eat. Neither can my daughter. So
Yeah.
I decided that since loan signing it's also tied to the mortgage industry, which is up and down. So I decided that estate planning was more for me. And there was a lot more stability. It's not tied to mortgage rates. There's not an expectation that you have to wait up to 3 months to get paid. You get paid right there at the table. That's the general, how people show up to their notary appointment expecting that they're going to have to pay their bill that day. And I was like, this is definitely the specialization for me.
Yes. So cash flow was king, wasn't it? You needed something that
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
turn into cash that day or very soon after that day.
Yes.
And also, trust delivery agents have a greater chance of making more money per appointment, I believe, than say like a loan signing. Most loan signings, I would say. And
Yes. There is greater opportunity.
yeah, so what do you find as like an average or maybe a range for trust delivery kind of signings? Have you noticed the kind of a range of fees that are out there that you've
I
seen?
structured my fee based on the number of documents because I've had estate planning appointments where they only needed one document, and then I've had estate planning
Yes.
signings where they had 28 documents that needed notarization plus witnesses and all sorts of stuff going on. I structured mine to fit that sliding scale need. If you only need one document, the price is reflected in that. Whereas the more time and energy that I have to put in to prepare your documents, your appointment, my price should reflect that as well.
That's
So,
smart. That is really smart. I love that idea, that sliding scale idea. I have run into appointments where, and I do trust delivery too, and where, yeah, there's one, or you get a packet this thick. And it's best to go in knowing what you're going to charge people.
mhm.
Setting the expectation probably is pretty important for
Yes.
those folks that are going to be there.
I
Yeah.
also did something different where I was trying to ascertain if my prices were on par with the Orlando areas, like market. Am I too high? Am I too low? Kind of thing. And I went looking for other notaries to see what they were doing. And I found that almost nobody put their prices on there, or they would just put, oh, it starts at this and it goes up. And I was like, I just don't feel like why is that acceptable? Because if you were to go to McDonald's or Home Depot or
Okay.
pretty much any other industry, and you walk in and they're like, a burger can start at $8. You're
Right.
like, yeah, I need to know how much this is going to cost.
Right. Okay. So your approach is be right straight up front with people. Here's my pricing
Yes.
for this. And
Yes.
so how have people responded to that? This is really interesting. Because
I
this is a
think,
question everybody has. I tell you, everybody has this question. And you're solving
right.
it. So tell us about it.
I think it will be appreciated. I just recently switched to all
Okay.
of this, so I haven't had a lot of time to field test all of this, but
Okay.
I think it'll be appreciated. Busy professionals don't have time to call 5 or 6 notaries if they sound like they know what they're doing
Yes.
or know what they're going to charge and why they feel like they're worth that price. The amount of work that goes into preparing for 20 plus documents is a lot more significant than I only have one document that needs a notarization. That you can do
Right.
on the fly.
Right.
28 documents or more, you cannot do that on the fly.
You need
So
time. Yeah.
right,
You're
and I
not.
restructured my entire business to give myself that time because previously I hadn't, and it got me into trouble.
Oh. Okay. So it got you in trouble. Why? What happened? Give me an example.
The signing just it didn't go smoothly,
Okay.
and I lost a client because of that.
Really? Was it
Yeah.
because you didn't allow yourself enough time to complete the assignment and you had another appointment behind it? That would be me.
No, that wasn't it. It was
Okay.
that for one, I needed to upgrade my equipment because my cat sat on my laptop and my
Oh,
laptop was no longer cooperating. So part of it was not my fault.
yeah.
Part of it was I'm new. So I didn't anticipate everything that was going to go into a 20 plus document notarization. And my lack of experience showed there, but I
Yeah.
learned a lot and it caused me to give my entire business a facelift from the ground up. Everything got restructured to reflect that I learned so much from this, in that I cannot wing it with 20 plus documents. That can't happen. I've got to have time to prepare if I'm going to tell my clients that I offer secure, seamless, everything's going to go without a hitch kind of signing, then my before we get to the signing process needs to reflect that.
That's amazing. If you're watching this video and you heard Nica say what she just said, there's no judgment here. I really appreciate you sharing that because I think every one of us has gone through something similar that you have experienced. I have. I remember my first signing. It's like I was a nervous Nelly. I think I about threw up in my car before I went in to do this. And I was like, oh, yeah, you learn from your mistakes and the experiences that you see and get to participate in. And that can change how you do your business. And yeah, it's great that you were like, oh, I know how to do it. I know how to do this now or better.
Right,
That's
right.
awesome. Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that it's not what knocks you down, it's how you get back up that defines your character.
Amen. I agree with that 100%. And it sounds like you are an active participant in that and learning and making your business better because of it. That's awesome. Okay, let's shift over to Ron a little bit. What I don't know if you're willing to do this or not, but are you willing to share what Ron platform you use?
Yes, I use Proof Platform, formerly Notarize.
Okay, great. And why did you choose that? And what has your experience been with that platform?
I chose that one because the fees were more predictable and it didn't require an upfront monthly subscription from me. So it was like I just use them when I'm able to. They don't offer on demand unless you're a National Notary Association member, which I am not. So that was one downside. They seem to favor National Notary Association members. But for the most part, I think that it's a great platform. They offer their platform specific training, which you are required to take in order to onboard onto their platform. And I thought it was very helpful because then you're not dealing with all sorts of technicalities and you don't know how to run the appointment when you finally get there.
So you work closely with estate planning attorneys?
Yes.
Okay. And how did those relationships start for you? What was the catalyst there?
Direct marketing.
I love it. Tell me about how you did direct marketing.
I do direct marketing via email.
Oh, you do email marketing. Okay. Ah,
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes.
So tell us your process there and what you found works and what maybe you found that didn't work so well.
I am still sussing that out because
Okay.
I haven't had a lot of success. So I don't know it. I don't think it's the template that I was given. I think it was my own approach,
Okay.
maybe trying to run through it too fast. I don't know. I recently revamped my entire business and geared up for a whole new marketing, trying to get some more business going.
Okay. So you have had some success with getting an attorney?
Yes.
You did. Okay, great. And what did that look like when you finally closed that attorney to use you as their notary?
Personalize the email for one. That was probably the top thing that I was told that I felt worked for me. I got more callbacks that way.
Oh, okay. When you personalize the email. So like
Yeah.
instead of saying dear sir, dear Jack or Jack, are you using the attorney's name in the email? Is that what you're meaning by personalization?
And also look through their LinkedIn, look through their website and find something that you can see matters to them about what they do and include that in the email that
Oh,
you
smart.
noticed that. So then it's not just, hey, I saw your name and decided to email you. You took a personal interest in them.
You did your research, right?
Yes.
You're figuring out if this, instead of just blasting 100 emails out, actually taking the time to get to know the attorney that you want to do business with because it's a good match for you. They just don't know how good of a match you are for them yet. Doing your research. Yeah, that's awesome.
And every attorney isn't going to be a good fit for every notary. So it's important to just keep going until you find your fit.
Right. How many attorneys do you think it's going to take for you to develop a well-rounded business?
I would estimate between 5 and 10. It
Okay.
depends on their personal volume and how many of their clients they feel comfortable in doing remote notarization. A lot of people are still a bit iffy about remote notarization because it's all of my documents and adding a whole layer of technology on top of that. And a lot of people get nervous. Even I think younger generations are more cautious, I'll say. Not
Oh,
older generations are like, I'm not sure about technology because they just don't gel well with technology. But younger generations do fine with technology. They're just like, I'm not sure my document should be online.
You're a little
How do I know this
skeptical.
is safe and secure?
Yes. Yeah. How do you answer that question? How do you know it's safe and secure? How do you
The
imagine?
platform offers a 256-bit encryption,
Okay.
so it's end-to-end encrypted.
Gotcha. Okay. So last question on this trust delivery segment is that what does trust delivery agent mean in your world, and how is it different from just simply showing up and stamping a document and notarizing it?
These types of appointments can be very volatile emotionally. People are
Oh,
having to make sometimes very hard decisions, and it requires somebody with a lot of capacity for empathy and for managing those types of situations while also keeping things moving in a forward direction. They are not easy appointments sometimes. Not every time are you going to have these high charge emotional situations. Sometimes it's just signing documents, but you have to be able to manage those things, and it happens on the fly. And people appreciate confidentiality too, I think.
I think so.
Their personal documents, they don't want their business everywhere.
Yeah. So you've experienced a time where a client was emotional about what the what was going on in the process.
Yes. A client that was going through divorce, and you could
Okay.
tell there was some feelings there that were not pleasant.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a notary, you have to manage that during the session, don't you?
Sometimes more than others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people hold it together a little better, and some people are falling apart, and that's part of the job.
Man, 100% agree with you. 90%, 99% of my appointments are easy. And then there's those appointments where you're right. Empathy is on the table here. We have to recognize that people are going through a hard time, and this is not an easy thing for someone to do, to sign. That changes their life quite possibly, or changes the
Right.
course of their life. Yeah. Yeah.
Also like doing estate planning because they tend to explain the documents to their client. So you don't have a lot of, oh, we got to put this signing on hold because the client is asking me questions about their document. And I am not a lawyer. I'm a notary. So I cannot legally answer your questions about what this document is or what the effects of the document are going to be. And if
right.
your lawyer can't be reached by phone in the middle of the appointment, then I have no choice but to shut down the appointment. That can be
Right.
frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I've had that happen. There's things we just have to deal with as notaries, right?
Yes.
All right. So, did you get any training on being a trust delivery agent, and what's your view on that?
I did. There's a guy named Bill Soroka who has a high performance notary. I dubbed it notary school because it's high performance notary on the school platform. That's
Right?
a lot
Yeah.
to say. So I just dubbed it notary school, which is what I consider it. And he's got a lot of courses and stuff where I took my certified trust delivery agent course through him. It's it has moved, it has changed ownership since then. It wasn't, but when I took it, it was through him.
Yeah. So, when you took it, was that a game changer for you? Was it something like, if I hadn't taken this, I wouldn't have known the opportunity, or what's your take on it?
It gave me more confidence. Bill brought up that you don't necessarily have to have this kind of training in order to do trust delivery and estate planning documents, but it does show that you cared enough to get some advanced training in that area, and also gives attorneys a little bit more of a, okay, she knows what she's doing. She's sought out some extra training.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really important. When you show up to an appointment, you should know the documents. You don't can't answer any questions about them, but you should be able to know, is where is this document? Where's the living? And you go, oh, I know. Okay, flip through it. Here it is. Or in any of the affidavits that are in there are just, it's just good to know. And you look so smart in front of an attorney when you do that. And they're like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows what these documents are. Or
Right.
this lady.
Where they should be initialed and where they need to be signed, and just knowing those little things really helps keep an appointment very smooth.
Okay, I think you do two things. I think you probably have done a signing with an attorney while they're like at their office or they're with their client and you're acting as a notary. And then there's the other situation where the attorney gives you the packet of documents that here, go meet with my client over at his house and get these documents executed. Have you done both situations?
I've only done ones with attorney present thus far.
Okay. All right. I find those fun because I get to sit back and watch him interact with his clients. And of course, they're answering questions. Is that how this happens with you?
For the most part, the attorney has been quite quiet. I think
Oh,
this particular attorney went out of his way to prepare his clients for what the signing was going to look like and what documents his client needed and what was going to be the effect of those documents. It was really great working with somebody who prepared their clients so well.
yes, I agree. I have an attorney that I sometimes do signings for, and I have found he gets to talking, and I feel like I'm kind of like the administrative assistant there. Is like, hey, you forgot a signature, or hey, you need to initial these, and so I just take over that part of it, and I just start flipping documents over to his client, and he's, oh, thank you, we missed that. And I was like, yep, we got it, and just make him look or her as good as you can in front of his clients. You got two professionals working together to get these documents executed. Oh, this is fun.
That's the attitude I take it. We're collaborating for the benefit of the mutual client.
Yeah, exactly. So let's switch gears now. Let's go into marketing. I looked at your website, I looked over your Google business profile, and I have to say, I'm impressed. You have a very nice website and it's well thought out. I don't know if you did this yourself. Did you do this?
I did do it myself.
Oh,
I
and
don't
then
have website developer money, so I had to
yeah,
figure out a lot of stuff.
I'd say you're on the right track. I looked at your Google business profile. While it's new, it looks like you're starting to gather reviews. You got a couple reviews on there. I guess what I was most impressed about with your website, though, was the amount of detail that you have on it and how it's just laid out very logically. And I imagine when people do find your website, they say things are easy to find on your website. Have you ever
I
had that?
went out of my way to make it somewhere. I'm listening to Bill say, bring value, be a resource. And I wanted that reflected in my website. I wanted somebody to go to my website, whether they're just somebody from the general public that needs that one-off document that they need notarized just once in a while, or an attorney that comes to my website and they're going to need notarizations consistently, and having a remote notary in their pocket is a great resource and a lot of value to them and their practice. I wanted them to feel like they came to my website and their questions were answered. What does she do? Where does she do it? How does she do it? What are her prices? And if those questions are not answered, personally, I feel like you've wasted your time building a website.
Beautiful. Oh, because the thing that you are wanting to do, which I think you are accomplishing through what you just said, is that you are after what we call conversions in the industry, in the digital marketing industry, right? Where if you're a marketer, the only goal you should have with your website is to convert online traffic to dollar signs, to an
Right.
appointment. I tell everybody this that will listen to me, hey, give up the idea about pretty. Pretty's good, but focus on conversions. And what you
Yes.
just said in that last sentence is it's beautiful. It's music to my ears because you're answering the questions for the client or the search audience that's looking for you. And you're also answering the question that Google and AI engines are looking for. They're looking for someone who's an expert in their niche. And a lot of times what I see with websites from notaries, it's very thin. There isn't enough content there. And yours, and I call those pretty little brochures. They absolutely do nothing. But yours goes beyond that, a pretty little brochure, and it actually answers the question. So I just want to say, nice work. I don't see that very often. But how do you think your website is going to affect your business in the long run?
I wanted it to be a place where whether you're the general public or busy business owner, whether it's small business, a corporate, or an attorney that's looking for a remote notary to add to their notary roster, you come to my website and you get your questions answered You know exactly how I do it, upfront what my prices are going to be. And my prices are reflected in that I do have that expertise. I'm not just, like you said, showing up and stamping a document.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that strategy is so smart. And then moving on to your Google business profile. Of course, I'm a big advocate of Google business profile. How, being relatively new to the space, how do you think that your Google business profile is going to influence your business?
It's the initial touch point, when most people don't know a notary off the top of their head and go, oh, okay, I know that person, they're a notary. When they find out they need a notary for a document, where do they go? They go to Google and they're
Mhm.
searching document name notarization or notary near me in their city name. And I want my Google business profile to be something that pops up and something that conveys to them that expertise that I know what I'm doing. I can be gotten a hold of quickly, and it leads them to my website where hopefully that conversion happens.
That's right. That's right. Being new in this, and I see right now you've got 2 reviews. What are you going to do to build that social proof?
Ask every appointment that went well. If it didn't go well, maybe skip the ask, but ask. You have to ask.
You have
You
to
have to
ask.
ask them for a review. And if you do it right after they're a satisfied customer, then they should have no problem, especially if you provide a link and there's not a whole lot of hoops they got to jump through to do that little favor for you. They're more likely to actually leave a review for you.
Those reviews, I think, in your business, as soon as you start to get the ball rolling on that, it's going to make a significant change in your business. And this goes for any notary out there that's maybe struggling to get more appointments online, getting calls. Those reviews are really the cornerstone of a well managed profile. And I really am looking forward to following you and seeing how you progress that way. And I have no doubt, Nica, I have no doubt that you are going to really excel well in getting those reviews for your business. I can just tell by how you market your website, how you were marketing your profile, and those two together. I know you're like laser focused on this, and it's something that's important to you. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I tell people, not everyone who says yes is actually going to leave you a review. It's a numbers game, and it's important that you just keep moving. Don't focus on the one that said yes but didn't do it, and just
Right.
keep focusing on the new client and building that trust and earning the right to ask for that review. I guess I'm going back to the Ron here just a little bit, but for new notaries who are still maybe still just doing in-person mobile notary work, what's a realistic path for people to start layering in the remote online notarizations into their business?
Here in Florida, it requires a separate certification through the state. I don't know what it requires in other states, if it's a separate certification or if it just comes with your notary commission. Here in Florida, it is a separate certification. I would say do your certification and then do your really take your time getting started, because I was in a hurry and I just slapped together a website, a Google business profile, it was almost like I just closed my eyes and picked a name out of a hat for a notary platform. And come to find out, most of that method does not work at all. Be a lot more intentional. I was feeling a lot of pressure to hurry up and get going and make money. And it landed in a big flop for me. So I have spent the last 3 months restructuring the way I did things. And here at this interview today, the proof is in the pudding because you said yourself, it's all been put together. So I would tell anybody that's new, anybody that wants to convert to remote, even if they're not new, take your time figuring out all the little bits and pieces. I am a remote only notary, and I felt like my online presence needs to be pristine because it's going to make or break whether or not they're willing to work with me. There
Right.
is no in-person networking or marketing for me, so I have to really shine in that area. And I would say each of these little pieces, you need to take your time, building it one thing at a time. If you don't understand it, do some research until you understand it.
Mm.
Ask people questions because somebody out there has the answers and knows the information that you need to know. I didn't have website developer money, so I couldn't just say, hey, guy over here who knows websites, build a website for me. There
Yeah.
was a lot of stuff that I had to learn. Never in my life did I want to learn about SEO and metadata and all this back end stuff. Like the make it pretty part, I can do all day long. It was the back end stuff that actually brings up my website when somebody posts notary near me. That is the kind of stuff that details that we have to figure out when we are in business for ourselves. And I would say take your time, learn the stuff that you need to learn and do one piece at a time and build it slowly. Make sure you're happy with it before you move on to the next. Otherwise, you're going to be like me and having to go back after a big flop and go, okay, why did this happen? How do we fix it?
A lot of lessons in that. And if you're watching
Yes.
this, you can just head out to Nica's website and see what she's done. It's a great example of a well thought out website. It took a flop to get there, but you know what? You're there. Congratulations. It's really good to see that. Yeah, that's success. So let's ask you about some of your habits. And you talked a lot about how you've progressed through time, but what's one habit or routine that you rely on for your business to make your business successful? Have good relations with your clients. Is there any particular habit that you have?
Yes. Boundaries.
Oh, interesting. Give me some,
Boundaries.
talk to
Yes.
me about that.
As I mentioned before, I am a homeschooling single mother. I realized when I started this business that there has to be a time period when I focus on my business. And then when that time period is over, my child is typically doing her school things. She's almost 15, so she doesn't need mommy to hold her hand, but she does still need oversight and guidance. So while I'm doing business, I need to be focused on business. And then for me personally, there needs to be a clock off point. And when I am in that clock off period, I don't think about business. I have to be present for my child.
Amazing. And you follow that and you stick to it?
I do. I do. Even if I get messages, even if I get emails, it doesn't matter what it is, with rare exception. If I had an attorney calling me with an emergency,
Yeah.
exceptions can be made within reason, but for the most part, if it's just, hey, I just have a quick question, yeah, that quick question can wait until I'm clocked back in because especially in my family, there is no other family members. It's just me and my daughter.
Yeah.
So I understand that for me, I have to be present for my daughter when it's time for me to be present with her, and I can't be physically in the room, but my mind is in 16 other different places.
Wow. That is a lesson for probably 99% of the people out there who are notaries. And like they're just doing whatever they can to get scoop in the loan signing, this and that. And I have to say, I've been guilty of that too. 7 years in this, I'm starting to relax a little bit there. But I think that is a tremendous lesson and a great habit that you have. It will serve you well. So, what's something you wish you had understood 1 year ago from being Nica the Notary that you would have saved you time or stress?
I mentioned it before, but it was taking your time to get started. Bill's got a lot of great resources and advice and tips and tricks and things that you can implement. I went in there and I was so hungry, I was trying to eat it all up. And instead of slowly implementing one thing at a time as I learned and understood it, I tried to do everything all at once and that didn't work out for me. So back to the whole like do one thing, learn it until you know it well, and then continue to build on that.
Very good. That's amazing advice. Nica, we're coming right up on the hour here. I can't believe we've blown through an hour already with you, but I want to just in closing here ask you just a few other questions. And so, if a notary is watching this video today, what would you tell them to focus on?
I would say the same advice I got from Laura B. And that is,
Okay.
you need to build a foundation of competence first. You
Uh,
need to know your notary laws in your state. You need to know the most common documents. You need to know your notarial certificate and what elements belong on that to start out and build from there.
that Laura Buer, she is amazing, isn't she?
She is.
Yeah, she is the GOAT. I love that lady. For notaries and planners who might be watching, what would they look for when choosing a remote online notary or a trust delivery partner like you?
They should look for somebody that sounds like they know what they're doing, that indicates that they do know what they're doing with their online presence. That's a first touch point. That should indicate to you whether or not you want to move forward, whether going directly to making an appointment with them, or if you want to call them and just ask a few questions and, okay, they sound good, but do they actually know what they're talking about? And I would say a person who's willing to be upfront and transparent about what they do, where they're at, what their prices are, we wouldn't accept that from any other industry, and we shouldn't accept that as notaries either.
Very good. So, Nico, where's the best place for people to connect with you online and learn more about Nica the Notary?
NicaTheNotary.com.
Also, I will drop your links in the show notes here too. So if you're interested in contacting Nica, learning more about what she does, or maybe you're a notary and you have questions and this interview just rings with you, then I'll have all the information down below so you can reach out and talk to Nica. Nica, anything else you'd like to say before we wrap all this up?
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate your time. And it's been really a lot of fun talking with you today.
Thank you. It's been great talking to you too.
Okay. Thank you. And guys, catch all the episodes on my YouTube channel. I've got all the links down below if you're interested in High Performance Notary, which Nica is a part of and I'm a part of. You can go out to High Performance Notary and check it out. Sign up for free. If you want the VIP, which has my Google Business Profile class, you can go out there, sign up for the VIP course, which is only $49, and get all kinds of resources that Bill Soroka has offered the notary community, which is just blows your mind when you go out and see what he's done. So anyway, thank you. And everyone have a great day and go out and make some money.